Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Week 13 College Football on Robert Sports Show. I'm your host, Robert. Recently announced, hour and a half ago, the top 4 playoff picture for the Ncaa. We got number 1 Alabama at 9-1, number 2 Oregon at 9-1, number 3 Florida State at 10-0, number 4 Mississippi State at 9-1. As we all know, Alabama beat Mississippi State last week, and Mississippi dropped to 4th. In the AP Top 25, it's Florida State, Alabama, Oregon, Mississippi State. We'll just get straight to the top. Last week, I picked the top 5 games. I went 3-2. Not great, not horrible. So we got the Florida State Seminoles at 10-0. Jameis Winston is 23-0 as a starting quarterback. Florida State has won the last 29 games. They're taking on Boston College at 6-4. Obviously, Florida State will probably win this. They end up the season versus Florida at 5-4, so it looks like Florida will go undefeated this year at 12-0. We have the 9-1 Alabama Crimson Tide versus West Carolina. They're 7-4. Alabama will win that. Alabama ends the season with number 14 Auburn, and they're at 7-3. I know last year Auburn was in the national championship game. I think Alabama at 9-1, yeah, they're leading the playoff picture now, but if they get through West Carolina, which I believe they will, that, you get the SEC, Alabama versus Auburn beating up on each other. So you could have a possible two-loss Alabama. Obviously, they just beat Mississippi State, the number 1 ranked team in the country. But, anything can happen in the SEC. We have the Oregon Ducks at 9-1 versus Colorado. Colorado's 2-8. The first year in the I think first or second year in the Pac-12. Oregon ends the season with the Oregon State, and they're 5-5. So it looks like pretty much Oregon will go 11-1. We have Mississippi State at 9-1 versus Vanderbilt, who's 3-7. Mississippi State ends versus Ole Miss. They're 8-2, number 8th ranked in the country right now. Obviously, you get a Mississippi State losing that to Ole Miss, and you get Auburn beating Alabama. Ole Miss with 2 losses, they're 8th right now. They can move up a little bit. You get that SEC just beating up on each other the rest of the season. Mississippi State, they had a 12-game winning streak before they lost to Alabama. They faced number 20 Missouri and number 10 Georgia, both 8-2 right now the rest of the season. Alabama got to face Ole Miss. Here we go. So I also got to look at the SEC has a playoff game for the East and West. So you're going to have a Missouri or Georgia at 2 more games, 10-2 probably, one of those 2 teams, maybe a 9-3, versus either an Alabama at 9-1 or Mississippi State at currently 9-1. So one of those 2 teams has got to face the winner of the other division for the SEC conference title. So, like I said in the previous video, the SEC can knock themselves out of this. They got 2 teams in the top 4 right now, but they play each other. And they got other teams that are really good. I know Georgia lost Curley the rest of the year, that ACL, but he's been out the last 4 games, and Georgia's been winning. So, it could be very interesting what happens. I think, obviously everybody thinks Alabama may just, sail their way on in, but you never know what happened in Auburn. I mean, it's a big rival game, Auburn and Alabama. With TCU's at 9-1, they play Texas at their 6-5. They end the season at Iowa State at 0-7. So obviously, TCU should go on and be 11-1. But you got Baylor sitting there at 7th. They play Texas Tech or Oklahoma State, Texas Tech, and then Kansas State. Kansas State's sitting there at 12th, so you get a couple Big 12 schools that are, and all the Big 12 are playing each other, so you can have other Big 12 schools knocking them out. So, but the one thing that this committee is, I see what they're getting. Alabama, they beat the number 1 team, so they should be number 1. Oregon, they've been playing good, so they're 9-1. Florida State's 10-0. Like some people have said, who have they beaten? They've beaten everyone, but they haven't beaten everyone that well. They've had a couple games by 3 points. The vast majority of their games have been pretty close. And in college football, it's all about how bad you can blow your opponent out. Like Alabama blew out Texas A&M 59-0. There's an undefeated team that is ranked 18th in the AP Top 25, Marshall. They're not even ranked in the playoff, I guess, because they haven't beat anyone, but yet they're beat everyone. I think it'll be a crying shame the first year of a playoff not to have all your undefeated teams in there. If Marshall goes undefeated and Florida State goes undefeated, I think both of them should make it. But that's just my opinion. I've even said the SEC is going to knock each other out, but Alabama keeps winning. We'll see what Nick Saban can do. Well, that wraps up Week 13, top 5 preview of the college football season and playoff talk. If you disagree with anything I said, please leave a comment. If you agree, leave a comment. I want to know. I want to know who out there, yes, I'm in Missouri. I am a Mizzou fan. But again, the SEC, as bad as they are, badass teams as they have in that, they can knock each other out of the first playoff. So what would y'all think of that? No Big 12 school and no SEC school in the Final Four. It's possible. Thanks for watching. Have a great night.